Hey, I'm McDonald, your real estate agent here with Real Property Associates, and I want to do a quick Q&A for you today. And the question is, how do I know if I found the right house? And I'm going to give you 3 things to think about and consider when you are trying to decide, is this the right house to make an offer on? And the first question is, does the house fit in your budget? This is the first question that you should be asking before you're even looking at houses. You want to get your pre-approval, and then if the house fits in your budget, that is a good sign. Some buyers I've found will tend to stretch on their budget, and that's your call, but do keep in mind what your budget is and what makes sense in your finances, because that's a big part of the home buying process. And maybe you can stretch into it now and you might get yourself into trouble later, and maybe you're expecting to make more money in the future. So there's lots of different things to consider, but definitely make sure that the house fits into your budget. The second thing to consider, number 2, is, does the house meet your criteria? Now, in the Seattle real estate market, there's a lot of compromise happening, and that's okay, and that's actually something that you should be expecting. It's hard to buy a perfect house, and actually there's really not a perfect house unless you designed it yourself. So it's likely that you'll compromise a little bit, but does the house check off those different boxes that you want? Does it have 3 bedrooms? Does it have 1.5 baths? Is it 1,500 square feet? Is it in the neighborhood or area that you want to be? Those are the different things you're going to want to think about, and you're going to want that house to check off those boxes. And then the third question to ask is, the third question is actually, do you like the house? So number 1 is, does the house fit in your budget? Number 2, does it meet the criteria that you have? And then number 3, do you actually like the house? There's going to be houses that check the boxes and fit in your budget that you just don't like. Maybe it's on a busy street, or maybe there's something to you about the layout that you don't like, or some of the finishes. It doesn't have to be your house just because it is in your budget and meets your criteria. Sometimes there's it's just not quite for you, and that's okay. I want to give you permission now, not that you need my permission, but I want to give you permission to say no to a house just because of how it feels. And I have clients, typically I can tell when they like it and when they want to make an offer, and I can usually see it in their face when they're starting to get that feeling. I typically compare the home buying process to picking a partner or a spouse. I know it's not quite as permanent, but the idea of, there are people that might meet your criteria, but they don't. It just doesn't work. And that's the same thing with the house. So you're going to want to find a house that's inside your budget, meets your criteria, and then number 3 is also a house that you like. So hope this is helpful for you, and I will have more of these videos that are for home buyers specifically, and some tips for that process, and also questions that you should be asking. So keep an eye out for those. If you have any questions about the home buying process, or you're thinking about getting into that yourself here soon, I'd love to be a resource for you and help in any way that I can. So again, thanks so much for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.